was that specific game. I just remember the clock where he just didn't have the opportunities. It was a very passive game on both sides, and it was like ROTK just looking to make something happen, and neither the enemy nor his own allies were really complying.
If this were Empire, I would say that like a mid silencer would be sick here. But it would die so often. He would have to have the Winter Wyvern help out a lot. For eHome, I guess Shadow Fiend is a really good option. They're on Radiant side. They've got a lot to back them up. They don't have the best combos, and they would lack in the disabled department, which is something I'm a little bit concerned about. Like, you want reliable stuns. You don't want to just rely on the Winter Wyvern Winter's Curse. And the Ensnare is not a really good stun. Like, it doesn't really lock you out. It just holds you in place. So that's something to be a little bit concerned about. You know, it'd be sick, actually, if C-Deck picked Storm. If they put the Queen of Pain in the safe lane, and then they ran Lina and Earthshaker supports, I would like that. But I think eHome, it gets banned out. See?
Yep. You're right
on
the
logic. I actually thought it would have been the best possible pick for them, though. What else is there right now that they could grab? I'll load up the hero page right now, and we can just examine. Oh, Templar Assassin would be quite decent. TA Rex Viper would be pretty good here, but I don't think that CTY is a player that wants to play either of those heroes.
eHome actually banned away the Dragonite, so they're on the same kind of mindset that you are, that C-Deck going to be running that Lina Earthshaker support.
I think both teams have a mid here to pick. I think C-Deck don't want to run the Lina as a core if they can help it, unless it's the secret style S4, carry Lina. That would be kind of neat, but I guess we'll see. But eHome is under the same impression I am that is a support Lina, and that just confirms it.
C-Deck Ember Spirit, one of the big winners for the Chinese scene in the group stage so far. And your Storm Spirit. Wow.
Boom! Look at that.
Our Ember Spirit should be the safe laner because you don't want to match him against the Storm Spirit, right? So we've got a mid Queen of Pain versus Storm. Thoughts on that matchup?
Storm gets destroyed by almost everybody. The Queen of Pain matchup isn't as brutal as the Lina one, but it's pretty bad. Like, Ember versus Storm is actually not that bad if you're really good. Like, if you get, what is that? The thing that dodges? Sleight of Fist.
Sleight of Fist.
If you get it early, I think Brax showed me once that you can just keep dodging the remnants using it. But it's not efficient because the cooldown's like 30 seconds or something like that. So it's not an ideal situation whatsoever, but it's...
And you're also forced to use Sleight of Fist in a situation that doesn't necessarily give you CS.
But I've lost that matchup before when I was first trying to figure out how to play against an Ember. If you play over aggressively and you just keep spamming out remnants, what the Ember can do if he's really good is just play around the remnant. Like, I run at you with remnant, or with Flame Guard, and then you try to remnant, and then you just pull back, let the remnant die, and then run at the storm again. So the storm is then required to go 2 levels of the remnant early, actually, to break the second level of the Flame Guard.
Right.
But it's like a really decent matchup at that point for the Ember Spirit, if he's smart. Because you can't fully commit to right-clicking the storm, because then you're not fast enough to run away from the remnant. But it's really tricky. You have to be pretty fluent in the matchup. Like, you have to play that matchup more than 10, 15 times. Because the guy I played against that did that to me had played like 300 games of Ember. And then the second time we played against each other, he got destroyed because I just switched my build.
Yeah.
But it is something that you have to adjust to. Whereas the Queen of Pain just flat out wins. There's very few heroes that Queen of Pain loses to. And I think the majority of the reason why is because nothing can gank a Queen of Pain without having stack stuns, major nukes. Yeah. We saw the Crystal Maiden actually quite a lot against the Queen of Pain. That's a really easy gank, but almost the rest of the support hero pool really doesn't do anything for you. And so the Queen of Pain never feels pressure, and you can almost always pressure as the Queen of Pain.
Chains already being forced out aggressive, making sure that our OTK can't jump them. So the horn blows, the bounty runes are split, and we've got underway now eHome versus C-Deck. A lot on the line here in this last group stage match, as this is kind of the determiner for eHome, C-Deck, and Evil Geniuses, who takes that first place slot. CTY is going to be matched up against Shiki's Queen of Pain. We've got an off-lane Clockwork in the hands of ROTK, who's going to be going up against the Ember Spirit and Lina. The Chains maybe setting up the Light Strike Array, if not just the harassment of the Lina should be forcing back the Clockwork a lot of the times. And Earthshaker looks like he's going to be kind of sitting here in this middle lane. DDC is already doing something similar. Pretty classic Winter Wyvern, of course, that Arctic Burn, always being used in the beginning to harass the mid laner. It's just free excess amount of damage.
It's such a fun meta as a mid hero where you get harassed by their support, they harass your support. I'm not saying that sarcastically either. It's like you don't even fight each other as mid heroes now because the supports do the work for you, so you can just sit there and farm. It's great. And the bounty rune makes it so much easier to get a bottle as a Storm Spirit nowadays. Yeah. So whatever advantage that the Queen of Pains used to have is kind of broken if both teams get bounty runes. Like most of the games that you play in, that'll happen, and so the Storm can be fine. And DDC's in some trouble here.
It's going to force out an Arctic Burn. And Cheeky's actually commit to this kill, jumping forward with the Shadow Strike. CTY tries to actually go for the deny there, but it missed out, and Cheeky does pick up the first blood against DDC.
Yeah, I was wondering why he wasn't throwing the dagger, because that seemed, especially after that really sick fissure, even if he flies over it, there's not a whole lot of room for him to run, right?
Right.
So it was just a good play overall, and CDEC take the opening lead. And EG, if they're watching this game, they've got to be nervous because they don't want one team to have a defined advantage over the other. They want both the games to be close so they can split 1-1.
Shiki brings a little extra reach into himself. Our offlaners here, RTK, is getting harassed out pretty heavily by the Lina, but should be able to pick up a decent amount of experience. Same kind of goes for the Tusk. He's dealing with a Naga Siren Gyrocopter lane, which I feel like it's definitely dangerous and has kill potential, but there are ways for you to deal with. First of all, it's a melee versus melee matchup, so you can kind of come forward and get some experience. But also, if he gets ensnared and there's Gyrocopter comes forward with the Rocket Barrage, you can at least dodge the initial Rocket Barrage with some snowball action. Oh, nice Fissure block. ROTK stuck here now. They're going to block him out. He does get hit by the Light Strike Array, and that will be our second kill of the game. CDEC 2-0 now against eHome.
If you're against an Earthshaker, you just have to really respect the fact that it can do that to your offlaner. Like, there's so many different angles where it can just completely lock you in. If you're ROTK, you're taking the chance to get the experience there. But I guess it's okay because the lane is somewhat pushed in, and you're going to get some experience out of this, but it's still never good to just give the Ember kills like that.
Yeah. I feel like there are significant advantages to the support dire side Earthshaker. I mean, first of all, the Radiant offlane is much easier to get a really good Fissure block, I feel like. Just because it's a bit of a narrower lane. And then I also feel like because you also have this Radiant cliff next to the middle lane, you can get that surprise Fissure as well.
Yeah, they're trying to make that work on CTY right now, but I think he should see this coming. And he's probably got vision for this, yeah. Like when you're below on that high ground, that's where the spot begins, and this isn't really fooling anybody, but they still want to make the attempt because they want to try to give a little bit of more control to the Queen of Pain. Like, Storm's doing just fine in CS right now, and he's just going to jungle.
Yeah, Radiant side advantage for a mid laner. Always being able to have quick and easy access to a couple of neutral camps. Q's farming up he's actually pulling along Clockwork. Kind of playing a little bit passive ever since the Earthshaker Fissure blocked him. Not trying to challenge that pull whatsoever, just soak the experience for it. Bottom lane, XZ, he is going to be caught here by the Naga Siren. There is still a snowball play. XZ is going to throw it out now. He's surrounded by 4 heroes, though, so he's really desperate for a Roshan suicide, but it's not going to happen. Storm Spirit claims the last right-click, CTY. Even if he doesn't get a refill on his bottle, he'll be happy for the kill.
You're probably more satisfied with getting that kill than you are with getting the rune every single time. It's just a bounty rune. You're probably going to go back to base if you're the Storm here anyways, because you don't have enough bottle charges or to do really too much. So if you didn't get that, you would have just gone back to base.
Yeah.
But with that kill, he gets a decent amount of experience. He's got boots now too, and so the Queen of Pain versus Stormsphere matchup, I mean, in net worth, it slightly favors the Queen of Pain right now because she hasn't had to do jungle camps, but there is a fairly significant stack ready for the Storm when he wants it, and that should be able to equalize the distance. But I mean, Shiki, he's in kill potential right now for CTY. Like, CTY has to be really careful right now. He's just going to go for it.
Yeah, Shiki pops that ultimate. Instant kill there on the Storm Spirit. Shiki will feel some damage, but actually he's going to turn around on DDC with Garter making the rotation over the Fissure pushes back the Winter Wyvern.
That's a level 1 Winter Wyvern. Like, Shiki's going to dive that every single time. Like, he had his ultimate up. He knows that there's no wand on the Storm Spirit, so there's zero play of a turnaround. Like, there just isn't. Even if the clockwork is there, it's really unlikely they're able to stop that.
Yeah.
And he can probably just walk away after that, too, because he's got a magic wand. And so Shiki went with the play that just made the most sense. And CTY should have been able to read that. Like, he had high ground vision. You click on Shiki, you see that he's got absolute full mana. You know what type of skill build he's gone. So
right.
Maybe if you had the Cold Embrace, you can get away with that. Maybe he wasn't aware that his Winter Wyvern was level 1 still.
Or maybe CTY should just gone back.
Yeah, it was one or the other. It's either he just wasn't fully respecting the burst power of all 3 spells, or he thought that the Winter Wyvern was level 2.
This is a very big hard camp stack for CTY to farm up soon. And also, they're going to give him this haste rune. So with his level 6 coming up, there is opportunities to make plays, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be had in the middle lane. Shiki is soon to be level 8, and Gardner is always making sure that Shiki has a good time in middle.
Yeah, CTY is just going to farm out the jungle camps right now to try to get back. He needs the level 6 to be able to pressure the Queen of Pain at all, and that's part of the reason why Storm, in the laning phase it's weak, but later on you can kind of deal with the Queen of Pain, and it's just because you have the jump ability to chase after her blink, but you need either a good start or a good amount of farm, and he doesn't really have either of those things, so he's got to fall back on the jungle, because the Queen of Pain doesn't have any stacks, and she's still 1k in net worth ahead of him. So CTY has to be careful here.
YJ, he's got some camps to farm up as well in his part of the jungle. He's going for a Phase Boots build. What's the difference here, Blitz, between Phase Boots and Tread's Gyrocopter? What do you read into that build?
I think it just allows you to be more aggressive and